Hey guys, what's up? It's So Says the Leader talking. We interrupt your regularly scheduled program for the following excerpt reading. I'm dedicating this excerpt reading to my dad, who passed on 3 years ago. So, as you know, I've been trying to get people interested in my book series with excerpt readings, and this is the next book, The Case of the Spectre of the Spectre. It started the series within a series called the Super Sleuths Seven. I hope you like it. Let's begin. This is a scene where Luan and Roxy encounter each other. Roxy is Luan's cousin, by the way, so I hope you'll like it. Back in Mount Melania Village, Roxy had all but given up her search when she stopped to sit down on a nearby bench and rest her tired legs. I must have wanted this half the night away, she realized as she punched her thighs repeatedly to alleviate her tired muscles. My dogs are killing me. She cleared her throat and apologized silently. Sorry, R2. No pun intended. Just as she was about to start for home, Roxy suddenly heard a small warble and reached toward her shirt. It was her communicator pin, disguised as a butterfly-shaped brooch. And as she touched her pin, it glowed as she said, "Go ahead, Roxy, we found R2, she heard the voice of the grumpy bird inform her. It seems he's passed out on stage at the old abandoned theater. Now how did he end up there? Roxy asked herself. She had shrugged it off and said, "Stay where you are and keep an eye on him. I'll be right there." "Gotcha," said the grumpy bird's voice as Roxy clicked off. Then, feeling rested, she rose from her seat and was about to start off for the abandoned theater when she heard the hoofbeats of a horse and carriage approaching her. A horse-drawn cab, Roxy realized. She put her fingers to her lips and whistled shrilly as she shouted, "Taxi! Taxi!" However, the driver paid her no never mind and just continued past her. On that, Roxy fumed. "I tell you, it's getting so you can't get a cab anywhere these days!" And then she leaped out in front of the cab, making the horse who pulled it rear up in alarm. But Roxy quieted the animal down as soon as it landed, rubbing its nose to calm its nerves. "Miss, what in the world did you think you were doing?" The driver, a red cap, suddenly shouted. "Did you not see me?" Roxy came back politely. "Your horse did, but you sent him right past me." On that, he chuckled uneasily and returned with, "Sorry about that, miss." Then he cleared his throat and asked, "Where to?" "To the Spectre Theater, and step on it," Roxy told him. On that note, she noticed that the red cap began to cringe and shake as if from fear. Then he burst at her, "Are you out of your mind? No one even goes near the Spectre Theater." "But I need to get there," Roxy insisted. "My dog got lost in the village and ended up at the theater." The man merely shook his head and decided and declared, "No, forget it! Don't you know the legend?" "What legend?" Roxy asked. "On dark nights like these, the Spectre of the Spectre searches for the intruders in her sanctuary, stealing their souls and imprisoning them in limbo." "Spectre of the Spectre?" Roxy repeated skeptically. "They're crackers! I need to get to the Spectre Theater. Now, will you take me there or not?" "Not," said the red cap. "I plan to stay as far away from that place as possible." Then he snapped his horse's reins and left as quickly as possible. "If you know what's good for you, you'll follow my lead." Roxy stared off after him and murmured to herself, "What an odd, scared young man." Then she heard the sound of another horse-drawn vehicle, but this one was different from the rest, as it was more ornate and elaborate, with a crest shaped like a capital M, letter M, shaped from 4 swords that connected each other from blade to hilt. The crest of Melania, Roxy remembered. That can only mean one thing. Star found my cousin. and as the horse-drawn carriage pulled to a stop, the door flew open, and a young woman with jet black hair poked her head outside. "Hey, stranger, need a lift?" She asked Roxy. Roxy only returned her warm smile with a lopsided grin. "No, I'm just walking through the night to work out the kinks in my joints." On that, the dark-haired elder woman grinned, which made both her and Roxy laugh hard, and then the two girls said in unison, "Here's your sign!" Anyway, so you see, that's where Luan and Roxy meet in Mount Melania Village, and this is where the mystery solving starts in the book series. Let's continue. Well, this takes place in the abandoned Spectre Theater, and this is where Roxy and the others find R2. So I hope you enjoy it. The inside of the abandoned Spectre Theater was even creepier than the outside, Roxy discovered, as it was dimly lit from a chandelier dangling from the ceiling, close to falling actually, and with every step she took, the floor creaked and groaned, and it made her feel more and more on edge. But she decided she had to come in and find R2, no matter what it took. Calling R2 was named for what seemed like the millionth time, Roxy was about to lose hope until she heard her bloodhound's familiar bark. "R2!" she exclaimed, running toward the sound. But she had only run about 10 steps when she felt herself get yanked back and yelled. Crying out in pain as she landed on her behind, Roxy looked up to see Luan and picked herself up. "What did you do that for?" she demanded of the elder woman. But then she received her answer when the floor trembled beneath her feet, and she whirled around to see that a chunk of the ceiling had fallen above her. Well, it had fallen in. The chunk of the ceiling above had fallen in. "Oh," Roxy said with an uneasy chuckle. "That's why." "Luan!" Roxy suddenly heard Heather Winchester's voice call out. "Roxy! You guys all right?" "We're fine," Luan called back as the twosome saw the 4 other children enter the main hall of the theater. Come on, you guys. Come on, you guys," Roxy called to them, waving them over. "I sense R2 is backstage. Let's go." Just then, Roxy heard the familiar pained howl of the bloodhound. "The ringing? Again? Again!" She realized. "That's a record. It usually only happens once a day." R2! Roxy called as she pushed her way through the fallen debris, following the sound of the howl. But just as she reached the stage, the howling suddenly became growling and snarling. "Oh no," Roxy realized. Then she looked behind her at the others and said, "Guys, you better back away." "Why?" Heather Winchester asked. But then she received her answer when R2 leaped toward her with a myriad of wild barking. Kavaria wrestled with the floppy-eared bloodhound as it tackled her to the floor. Grunting in effort as it attempted to bite her, she clamped its jaws shut and tried to turn its neck toward the left. However, Helena and Ashley saw that she was barely holding her own against that berserk bloodhound, so they leaped on R2's back and tried to help Kavaria constrain him. "Don't hurt him!" Roxy exclaimed as R2 began thrashing around and struggling to escape. "We're not trying to hurt him!" Helena shouted back. "We're trying to hold him!" Ashley insisted before R2 threw her and Helena off his back. Kavaria could feel R2's hot breath on her neck and complained, "Oh, phew, you guys, you really need to floss!" Before she saw the bloodhound suddenly freeze up and howl in pain a moment later. On this note, she scrambled out from underneath R2 as he lay on the floor on his stomach and covered his ears with his front paws. Huh? Havaria wondered to herself. What's wrong with him? Then, as she picked herself up from the floor, she noticed Luan with an odd metal object protruding from her lips. Then she realized, a dog whistle? As you can see, R2 is fed up with all the ringing he's hearing in his ears, and Luan had to resort to blowing a dog whistle in his ear, blowing a dog whistle to calm him down. Let's continue. This is the scene at Mount Melania Library where Luan, Havaria, and Roxy try to figure out what's going on with the Spectre of the Spectre. So, let's read. Moments later, Luan, Havaria, and Roxy found themselves at a small building highlighted by the ornate wooden sign that read Mount Melania Library in beautiful calligraphy. Heather, what do you hope to find here? Roxy asked. Something that can lead to a logical connection and an explanation of these random events all over the village, Havaria told her. As they stepped inside, the threesome noticed that the Mount Melania Library was bigger than it looked on the inside, with several desks where people sat in chairs and read quietly adorned the center of the main room, while several shelves with a myriad of books adorned the left and racks with news scroll back issues that stood on the right. Luan, you check the news scrolls here, Havaria murmured, knowing this was a place for quiet time. Roxy and I will see if we can dig up some information about Eden from another source. Gotcha, Luan whispered back, and looked over the back issues of news scrolls dangling from each of the racks. As at last she had found the Millennial World News editions from 10 years ago. She decided to start with the month before Eden Starling was believed to have been killed, marking the start of the slow, painful disrepair that the Bijou Theater had fallen into, and perused one edition while keeping the other eye on Havaria and Roxy. Meanwhile, at the front desk near the entrance, Roxy and Havaria talked with a blonde who seemed to be in her early 40s. According to the nameplate on her desk, the woman's name was Edenia Estrellita. So you see, we were hoping you had some information about what happened 10 years ago at the Bijou, Havaria finished. Well, Edenia said hesitantly, all I could say is, it was very painful to hear about what happened to Eden Starling. She was my role model growing up. Really? Roxy asked. Are there any microfilm copies of her obituary? Edenia sighed deeply. To be honest, no one ever really found her body, she told her. And so I'm not even sure there even is an obituary. And that's all right. It's all right, Havaria, said Havaria. By the way, that's an interesting necklace. Is that sterling silver? Oh, no, the elderly woman replied with a laugh as she fingered the shiny charm around her neck. It's completely real, with precious stones and everything. You seem to be proud of that necklace, Roxy realized. Where did you get it? Edenia hesitated on this note before explaining. Oh, I just found it in some catacombs underneath the old Bijou. Havaria murmured. Interesting. Then she cleared her throat and said, well, thank you for your time. I think I found all I need to know here. Well, let me know if I can help you with anything else, Edenia offered. No worries, Havaria responded. And thank you. You've helped me more than you know already. And then she and Roxy left and approached Luan, who met them halfway. Did you find anything? Luan asked as they exited the library. Well, we did find out that Edenia Estrellita knew Eden Starling, Roxy related. You? I'd read about Eden's life, Luan told her. Turns out she was quite the brainiac in school. She'd sketched out several alchemical machines, but never released them to the public. Instead, her Aunt Marie persuaded her to pursue a theatrical career. In her early work on stage, she played the lovely assistant of a master illusionist magician. An illusionist, Havaria realized, and thought to herself, now all these loose ends are starting to connect. And then she said aloud, Let's get back to the Spectre Theater. I've got a plan on how to nip this wild weed case in the bud. What do you mean, Heather? The one asked. I'll explain as soon as all of us are together, said Heather as they approached the Millennium Royal coach. Now let's go. As you can see, Heather seems to know what's going on at the Spectre Theater, which was originally called the Bijou Theater. That if you want to find out more about my book series, be sure to check out the link in the description. Also, if you like these excerpt readings, be sure to like, comment, and share this video. Also, if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'll be waiting to hear from you as in the comments. This is So Said the Leader signing off. Peace out.